back to the Artie Lange Show. My next guest is quite simply a legend in Philadelphia broadcasting. I say in broadcasting, period.
Yes.
From 94 WIP. And of course, you know that, John. You were an Eagle.
Yeah. He was always great to me.
Legendary Howard Eskin is on the line. Howard, what's up?
Hey, Artie, how are you?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, it's always my pleasure to be with you, a true legend in whatever it is you're a legend in.
Once again, dripping in sarcasm. Dripping in sarcasm like only Philly can do. Dripping in Philadelphia cheesesteak sarcasm. But, John, explain why you love Howard so much. You played on the
Well, he was always very good to me. He was always fair. He helped me buy my house in Western Philadelphia, in the outskirts,
What do you
in the
mean? He
suburbs.
helped you buy your
I was in
West
Berkeley.
Philadelphia?
I was living in California. I needed to
by the
find a
way,
place to live.
Is that by the that theater I used to play in West Philadelphia? I've driven through there. What's it cost? 20 grand for a house?
No, no. I was in Broomall. I was in Broomall, outside Philly. Yeah, suburb.
Hey, John, he doesn't know where Broomall is.
I've been to Broomall.
Anywhere to him.
Right
I've done
off.
a gig at Broomall.
Really?
Go out to every town on the outskirts of Philly or section of Philly. I've done a gig. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, I called Howard. I don't even know how we got hooked up, but he helped me purchase this house. He helped me locate the agent to get a house, and
Is that true, Howard? Very, very impressive.
Yeah, it is, because I didn't want him to live in New Jersey. I connected to North Jersey, and they're creeps up in North Jersey. You're part of that.
Well, you get
out of Jersey and get him back into Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I gave him a place that's easy to get to. It was easy to get to the complex. It was a piece of cake.
Well, you help a lot of the Eagles.
You know what? You know what amazes me, Artie? That John's really a good guy. I don't know how the hell he ever ended up with you.
Listen, I know, Howard, that you help a lot of the Eagles players in their personal life. Is it true that you took Riley Cooper to his first Klan meeting?
No, it was the second one.
The second one. Well, you had to vouch for him at the first one and get his size, his sheet size.
That is, come on. The guy is now a legitimate, I won't say a top player, a good player in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you can't kill him anymore. It's over. It's done with. But that's all right. It's all in fun. It's all in fun. And I did make sure that he was all right, and I got him security all the time.
Him and
he's got security
hear,
now.
I hear him and celebrity chef Paula Dean are doing an episode of $20,000 Pyramid together.
Yeah, but she can't cook. And she can't play football.
Well, you know, the category, their first category is words that end in igger.
Hey, listen, you're fine. That's a fine in the NFL now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
No, that's a fine.
You're a real man. Don't you think that's coddling? How awful is that rule?
I think it's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard.
Honestly.
People, for whatever reason, don't like Richard Sherman. I think he's right. It's racist. It really is racist.
Agreed.
You're going to find a guy. Suppose the guy's on the defensive line, and the tackle says to the other tackle, he says, "Hey, whatever you want to say." I'm not going to say it.
Right.
And then the official hears it. What are you going to penalize two guys on their own team?
You're right. That's a good point. You know, no one's brought that up. That's an excellent point. That probably happens a lot.
Hey, listen, these guys are 90 years old, these officials. How the hell are they going to tell where it came from?
Yeah.
You're right.
Really?
Well, you know, good point. Again, you know, honestly, I've always been a fan of yours because you do tell it like it is. And you got a lot of controversy about your career, which I think a good reporter should have, in the Jimmy Breslin sort of Pete Hamill take on things. You're a big Allen Iverson guy. You always have been. You make no apologies about it. And explain your relationship with Allen.
Well, the first couple of years that he came in the league, it was actually decent. And then his crew or his posse, whatever you want to call him, didn't like the fact that I was trying to tell him, hey, listen, man, you can't do this. You're going to be a leader. You can't do these things.
Right.
So they turned him off of me, which is fine. Hey, it's not my job to make sure he does the right things. But if I wanted to say something to him, I would. So throughout most of his career, this is what's fascinating. I had no clue he was going to mention my name in his ceremony and give me the shout out.
Yeah.
And I saw one tweet, and the person said, you criticized him his entire career and gives you a shout-out that shows respect. Now, I think what I do, I try to get respect. And I'm my own guy, and I say what I think, and it doesn't matter. And John knows that from being here in Philadelphia. But there was just something about it. He obviously understood that and it's amazing how players, after they're done, realize this. And coaches, after they're done coaching and it's over, they realize this, that he obviously realized that I was doing things the way I felt they needed to do them. I had to be true to myself. And he was doing them the way he did. I didn't break the rules. He did.
Well, I mean, yeah, but your honesty,
giving him good advice.
But you're right, exactly. And your honesty means, Howard, that like a compliment from you means way more than a compliment from another guy, because you know you don't hand them out like candy like some people do.
No, it's just that it's kind of interesting when he turned off. And there's so many different situations with Allen Iverson. I mean, Larry Brown would tell me that he came hungover to practice, just like you come to work, Artie. He hung over to practice 50% of the time.
Right.
And I saw there was a piece on Real Sports that Larry Brown did.
Yeah.
It was just a passing comment that he made with Brian Gumbel. He said, I taught the players more in practice when Allen wasn't there.
Wow.
That's just the way. And he didn't say it in a negative way. He just said it in a matter of fact, and that was the truth. It was just the way Allen Iverson did things. He thought, and the big practice rant, that if he came out and played hard during the game, everything was okay. Yeah. But he was he surely was a different kind of guy, and he did it the way he wanted. But the thing that he quit on Larry Brown one time. He says, I'm hurt. Players, this happens. Doesn't happen in the NFL because they'll get rid of your ass in the NFL.
You're right. Yeah. You're right.
But in basketball, hey, listen, I got a hamstring. I can't play. So because he sat him down in the second half, I'll never forget this game. He sat him down because he sat down all the starters because nobody was playing hard the first half. And then he says, I'm hurt for the next 3 games. So one time I said, hey, man, if you're going to be, and they always looked at Michael Jordan as the guy, and for good reason, that if you think you're ever going to come close to that, you can't do that to your coach.
No, not especially Larry Brown,
Yeah, who was a Hall of Famer before he was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that neither one of them would have – Larry Brown was always a great coach, but Allen Iverson would not have been the same player without – he's talented and he can score and he can do all those things, but he would never have been the same player without Larry Brown. They changed that entire team to make it an Allen Iverson team. Nobody else on that team were scorers. They were all defenders. And when you brought a scorer in, they just weren't successful with Allen Iverson. So they changed the whole team, and Allen clearly became a better player because of Larry Brown. But Larry said the other night in a tape, he's still coaching at SMU, he said, God put me here to coach you, and it made me a better coach. It made him understand how you got to deal with certain players, but Larry Brown was always a great coach. But Allen Iverson had just an interesting career because he was always in trouble. I'll never forget the time that he was arrested, 72 felony counts.
Wow.
And found guilty of 0. well, he had the police commissioner's phone number. If he ever got in trouble, he said, hey, just give me a call.
That's hilarious.
That's honest. That's
70.
Honest.
Makes sense. I believe it. Listen, that team in 01 that went to the finals was a popular team amongst me and my friends. And I'm a New Yorker. I have trouble with all Philly sports as a New Yorker. But that team that went to the finals against the Lakers, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, surrounded by Laker fans working on a movie, on a movie set. And I was pulling a muscle rooting for the Sixers. I just wanted them to win. And the fact that a guy that size can be the leader of a team and take, make a little bit of a dent in 1 or 2 games against Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe and the Lakers and get to the finals is pretty impressive,
You know what's amazing, and that was a great year. That was a year. The greatest part about a team going to a championship is the unexpected of a team going to a championship. When you're like Miami Heat, I mean, who cares? Everybody thinks when those guys went to Miami, LeBron and his crew, when they all went there, they were going to win. That was expected. But when you have a team that it wasn't expected, that's what really created the excitement. And what Allen Iverson, I guess it's a shame when you look back at his career, but Allen says he would never change anything. I talked to him before the game and I talked to him after the game the other night, but he said he would never change anything. But if he just at least got in at 3 in the morning rather than 5 in the morning. Or,
Howard,
actually,
we got to take a break, Howard. Radio, we're up against a hard break, but we'll take a break, come right back with you. Can you do that?
You got it.
Thanks.
Right.
Howard Eskin on Allen Iverson. Back into it. Talking with Howard Eskin about Allen Iverson, and I think in a classy move, mentioned Howard's name in a ceremony. Who do you think, Howard, is the most hated Philly sports figure? Forget about their talent. You got Terrell Owens and guys like that. Who do you think is the most hated Philly sports figure, in your opinion, of all time?
Well, it's part of the thing in Philadelphia. Time separates the dislike or hate or whatever you want to call it. Terrell Owens, and I won't forget this. And John, I don't know where you were in your career when T.O. was here. You were already gone.
No, I was there.
He played.
I was there.
He was injured for the
year.
bowl.
The year that we went to the Super Bowl, my knee was blown out, but I was on the team.
Okay.
I was on IR.
Well, all right. The next year,
yeah,
when he decided the year before that he was signed a contract and he was going to ask for more money after 1 year. And then when he does the sit-ups on his driveway and all that nonsense that he went through, he was really a destructive guy in a locker room. Mm-hmm. And he separated guys. He separated in terms of there was a division. Trotter was his guy. Dawkins, who I thought would be more vocal in there to try to straighten things out, because I know Andy Reid had asked him to really kind of straighten it out. But what T.O. did and kind of, I'll say, breaking up the togetherness. How does a Super Bowl team not be together the next year? He was disliked. And the one I did something, and people can say they love him now, and we do love him now because he is what he is, and he's not playing anymore, and he's not creating problems with a football team. I had a funeral. I had a funeral director bring out a casket. And all the people, when we knew he was done, bring all their jerseys, put them in the casket, and bury them, because that was the end of T.O. And I had close to 500 jerseys put in that casket.
Howard, can you stick around for another segment?
Sure, absolutely.
Thanks, man. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll do another segment with Howard.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.